Welcome, welcome. We are back to the orbits that are clever. And I am Louis Brandmeier, and with me is PhD. Richard L. Futrell.
That's me.
Actually, it's LJ. Futrell, right?
Yeah, that's okay.
Richard LiveJournal Futrell.
That's right. My middle name is LiveJournal. Because I'm always writing on LiveJournal.
They were named after you, weren't they?
No, I was named after them.
Is that thing
Even though
still
I was born before they were created. It's very interesting. It's almost like I went back in time, as if I'm an entity from the future.
Oh man, I found your faculty video online. I'm really excited to watch this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I have not, however, been able to find your old LiveJournal, which I do remember with appreciation. Yeah.
It's out there.
It's out there.
It's out
there. Great. So, light and shadows, shall we? Discovery.
I was excited to see a Star Trek Matrix crossover.
What?
That was a Sentinel attacking the shuttle, right?
It was sufficiently similar to a Sentinel that I wouldn't be surprised if anyone else was as confused as you were. You're right. You're right. It did look just like a Sentinel or some kind of Terminator thing. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that probe was pretty cool. In fact, the episode, I thought it was okay. I thought it was decent.
Oh, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun.
I mean, it was interesting. Was it highest level interesting? No, but...
Hey, it had a time tsunami.
Yeah, I'm not clear that the writers understood what that was.
Well, they did run away from it. We didn't actually see it. They escaped from
it. We are not clear what that even meant. Like, it's a concept worth orbiting, for sure.
I think they pretty much straight up admitted that they just said it because it sounds cool.
Yeah, that was them admitting it. Now, we do have quintessential, classic Trek moments of compassion. We've got, and I thought the iconic one for this episode was actually Sarek. Interestingly enough, there's that moment where you can hear the very slight, subtle invasion of his voice by sadness and fear at the possibility.
It was not subtle.
It was not subtle. I thought it was subtle enough to have him still be a Vulcan. And I guess he was in a room full of humans, so, he was okay with allowing his guard to come
with
down.
The human cooties.
Yes, yeah. And so he was afraid of losing Spock and Burnham on the same day. And I felt like, given that, his decision to give Spock to Section 31 was legitimate. And it actually sparked an inquiry in my life how, what I find in the development of my business is that those around me who are actually genuinely, consistently, and depthfully motivated, not like one-off in moments, but continuously over time motivated by compassion and the desire to help and serve and enact empathy for others, like they actually tend to be a lot more successful than those, successful in the realm in which I play, which is transformation and healing and uplifting people. And they're more successful than those who are just in it for the money or just in it for the lifestyle or just in it for the whatever. And I thought, Sarek has been fundamentally altered by the birth of Spock and the raising of Burnham. And I thought for myself, to embrace and embody the full capacity of empathy that the brain that I have is equipped with, would take potentially having a child, because we know that there are fundamental shifts in brain architecture that occur when one has a child. And so this is kind of a sidebar, but that was what I thought of when I saw him have that moment. What's that?
It's time to reproduce.
Well, I mean, no. I want to upgrade my compassion, so having a baby at some point definitely will happen. Not anytime soon, by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really looking forward to my 30s without a child.
I see.
Yeah, probably 36 or 37 is child time. But back to the episode anyway. There was also the moment where, like a little girl, she had the ambiance and the energy of a little girl. Burnham hugs Spock while he's laying unconscious, and I felt like, oh, she really, really cares about him. And then the scenes, the flashbacks, were pretty cool between them and their interactions as little kids. That I thought was interesting. And they're painting a new inflection of subtlety into Spock's history of emotion versus logic. And technically, we don't really have anything from before the Cage or before he was on the Enterprise. And actually, in the Cage, we have him being emotional, if you see that episode. So,
yeah. The Cage is obviously of great importance because that's where they're going at the end of this episode.
What the Cage happened technically before.
I know
this episode, but Talos 4 has not yet been
back
quarantined.
To Talos 4.
Yeah, I don't think Talos 4 has been quarantined yet. I don't think that it's under the death penalty that we find out that it is later on in the original series. And I think that the death penalty that it comes under happens because of whatever happens in the rest of this season. That's my theory, anyway. But yeah.
That horrific accident.
That horrific transporter accident brought about by the Talosians with the new heads. Yeah. So what did you think of the episode?
I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I wanted it to continue. I wanted to find out what was happening next. We finally got to saw Spock. The great Spock tease is over. You know?
The great Spock tease of 2019.
And the clothes have finally come off, and there he is.
But he's unconscious, and it's like...
So we see his body, but not his mind. Yeah. Kind of like how a real striptease goes.
You're just gonna milk that for all that it's worth, aren't you?
I really am, yeah.
Okay.
It's worth a lot.
I forgive you.
Another comment is that the fighting abilities of these people is apparently much better than in the original series. Like that fight of Georgiou and Michael Burnham. Michael Burnham's doing some real, martial arts there. And then, I guess a few years later on the original series, it's pretty much, bop someone in the head and they fall unconscious.
Yeah, Georgiou actually, or the actress, of course, has a lot of skill and ability. And she finally, after a season and a half, gets to showcase it, which is great. And I liked when they broke the glass in that fight. I liked how, when I first watched it, it was really clear to me that initially Burnham was following along with her, and that at some point in the fight, she actually decided to unleash her full power because she really doesn't like Georgiou, and she really wanted to attack Georgiou for some reason. That was my read, anyway. I'm not 100% certain that was what happened.
I thought she was letting loose pretty much from the beginning.
And Georgiou's plan was, of course, to usurp Leland, and it seems like she has by the end of the episode. It's unclear whether or not that's definitive, but it seems like she has.
Yeah, and so she does that using this blackmail information that apparently Leland is responsible for the death of Burnham's parents. And that's interesting. What happened there? I also don't know, like, how good is that actually as blackmail information? Like, if you find out someone killed your parents, yeah, you're not going to like them so much, but it really depends on what exactly happened, right? Like, if it's an accident, then, you know, I'm not going to stop taking orders from a superior officer or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't really change anything for Burnham. She'll just be upset. And
yeah, I don't think it's very good blackmail. I think it's, unless he, like, deliberately killed them in order to hurt her or something. Or maybe he's from the future and he saw that he had to kill them to bring about this timeline. Like the Red Angel.
There's a great YouTube video with a kind of convoluted argument that everything that we see that doesn't make sense or that might not have yet made sense in Discovery is because of the Red Angel. Well, it's because of the Red Angel. Like
the
Red Angel's interference. Yeah. And that even going as far back as Burnham's childhood, like maybe Burnham was supposed to die and everything was supposed to play out slightly differently.
So we're in an alternate timeline.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really want that because I'm invested in Burnham. I like Burnham. And it would be really tragic and sad. The only time travel story that was able to do that well, to have a character be sympathetic and then eliminated from the timeline and actually be impactful on the reader, was one for the DTI novel where this new agent that everybody respects and loves, she gets eliminated from the timeline very precisely by these people in the Temporal Cold War. And they all know about her existence because of these shielded temporal records. So none of them knew her, but they know of her through these records. And so her memory gets preserved to a certain extent, and people are able to have an empathic reaction to her loss. Whereas, you know, generally, unless you've got that little loop, if somebody doesn't exist, then it's almost like they never existed to anyone, and they didn't make any difference. So, I mean, yeah, so if we go all the way back, like the Red Angel somehow does something, then Leland kills her parents, and then she is with Sarek and Spock, and that impacts his upbringing. I mean, the writers, they do seem to be aiming at trying to have it be that this integrates with the main timeline. Kurtzman has said that a couple times. Like, everything you think doesn't make sense will eventually make sense, just wait. So I don't think they're going to take that tack of, like, Burnham doesn't exist.
I hope they don't. Just because it's too easy, but you never know. And it would be cool if, like, this whole timeline exists because of her. Imagine having an entire timeline of the universe exist only because of your own being. That would be quite an honor.
The Burnham timeline.
That's right. You could walk around anywhere in the universe and think this only exists because of me.
This goes back to, like, Year of Hell.
Oh, yeah.
With changes in the timeline, propagating
the Year of
space.
Heck.
The Year of Heck. Like, it strikes me that even if she were eliminated, the changes that her first incursion, so to speak, upon the normal timeline would still be propagating out at some rate of time, space, speed through the timeline, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, the speed of a time tsunami.
The speed of a time tsunami. So let's talk about this shit. It is a new temporal anomaly. It's
rift in
it's
space-time.
Interesting. And time inside this anomaly is like a blender. Why? Because, as I theorize, someone somewhere is attempting to make a time smoothie.
The writers of the show.
The writers are trying.
Will it bled? All these I remember. All these characters, all this continuity. Will it bled?
It's a visual metaphor.
They're loading everything we love about Star Trek into this blender, and it's disfiguring their faces into these much younger and better-looking new actors. That's what I'm seeing right now.
Entirely possible. Nay, even plausible. So the way that it
I like the time the thing I liked about that time distortion was it's a very small thing, and the special effects that I appreciated a lot is that you can see that it's actually warping time. It looks like there's a bubble that's like warping the appearance of the stars behind it, like a lens. And that's what actual black holes are like as seen in the film Interstellar, which was the first movie to depict the black hole as it would actually look. There's this lensing effect. And yeah, we haven't really seen black holes in Star Trek. Star Trek has kind of been stuck in the 1960s model of what's out there in the universe. We haven't seen black holes. We haven't seen white holes. We haven't seen like gamma ray bursts, all this stuff that was discovered since then. And I think we're moving into that territory now, so it's quite cool.
Yeah, that's delightful. I liked the Parmesan cheese visual display.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I was thinking like this is a professional. Like this, what she's saying there is not contributing to this conversation.
Oh well, yeah, she will always be Tilly. She will always be just a little off base. However, the visual display itself, the depiction of time using all those different colors in front of MS, I thought that was pretty cool. And it is actually legitimate that his connection to the mycelial network will allow him to plot time in a certain way. That I thought was reasonable.
And he's got the tardigrade DNA.
Because he's still got the tardigrade DNA, and because he was, working with the network for so long, the mycelial network. And the idea.
I was reading
the
anomaly on Wikipedia today. Sorry, go ahead.
God bless you. That's okay. Hold on to that real quick. I was just going to say the idea of the anomaly itself having fragments of past, present, and future, like as you pass through it, you're going into different points in time. That I don't think we've ever seen before, and it is pretty interesting. And then the holograms, too. Well, okay, so I called them holograms because these past, future glimpse things, they looked very much like just normal holograms on this show. So, I mean, it was okay, but they should have tried to find a different way to do that. I don't know. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
So I looked up Discovery on Wikipedia. It was on the topic of the tardigrade DNA. And I saw that the show has been sued by someone for intellectual property infringement for ripping off his idea from the 2014 video game Tardigrades. That's it.
Yes. Is it actually? It's. Wow. Well, that's
I figured it was just a game about a big tardigrade, and this guy's like, I can make some money by suing Star Trek. Because they also had a big tardigrade. And the only way they could have thought of that was by playing his 2014 video game.
Well, was it that his he uses a tardigrade?
I literally don't know anything beyond what I've said so far.
Yeah, that's an interesting sidebar. We'll leave that there for a second. So the next piece is this. I'm sure you enjoyed the nice violence. That was some nice violence.
Yeah, there was some good violence. Yeah,
some good. The violence quotient of this show is rising.
So imagine that you see a shuttle coming out of a time distortion anomaly, a rift in space-time, and the probe that you sent in has mutated and has these tentacles with future technology going into the probe. And so now you have a decision. Is it going to be yellow alert or red alert?
Red alert.
And Saru chooses yellow alert. This is a major question. I think he might be having a residual effect of having lost his fear ganglia here.
You're right. it's instead of overcompensating for a lack of fear, he's undercompensating for an appropriate stimuli.
There are some things you should be afraid of. And a sentinel from the future, from a different media franchise, in fact, is something you should definitely be afraid of.
It came all the way from the Matrix Revolution.
That's right. It's the integrity not only of space-time, but of the media franchise that's at risk here.
Well, according to the trailer for the next one, there's a whole fleet of this type of ships. So.
Oh, good. Yeah. There was even a thing that looked a bit like the Big Drill from Revolutions.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's terrifying. And dispiriting. It's dispiriting for a whole other type of reason. Like, if they are ripping off direct. Okay, so the picture you've painted is of a writing team that has no fear of ripping off other franchises or video games.
Plagiarism for them is nothing more than a yellow alert.
This is not the best that we're going to come up with on this episode, hopefully.
No, in all seriousness, though, we haven't seen a creature like this before. Usually on Star Trek, the ships are all rigid bodies. They're these blocky, rigid, or circular bodies. We've never seen something with like tentacles moving around in space like this. That's probably because of special effects limitations in the past, but it's a new possibility. It's a new look. So, joking aside, I do think it's cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of these things.
We do have a history of like V'ger and Nomad probes that go out into space.
Yep.
That come back different.
They come back altered.
And why and how and what that means for the future and why there are all these other probe-looking things.
I mean, it's interesting that the probe went right for the data core. It was really into that data. It just really wanted all that data.
Well, it totally aligns with what we've talked about from the Matrix.
Yeah, I know.
They're trying to make things predictable by acquiring all possible data. Or the Borg, honestly. But they shouldn't encounter the Borg this soon.
I'm sure they will, though. In all the seasons that are coming up, I'm sure they're going to encounter the Borg. It'll be interesting.
I hope Picard encounters the Borg. That would be that would be the most interesting. Unless
maybe
you want to argue like the First Contact
Picard
completed his arc.
Well, it did, but that doesn't mean it can't be reopened.
By some good writing. Hopefully we'll find a good writer. Yeah.
It's going to be like an old Picard sitting in his study or at the vines in the vineyard or whatever, like in All Good Things. And he's reminiscing his days with the Borg Queen. And he really misses her. And he feels bad about how things went. He feels like he didn't treat her fairly. When he said time's up and ripped her spine out, he's feeling guilt about that. And he wants to go back and see if they can talk things out.
Because she did respawn.
Yeah.
Invariably, she respawned again after Janeway threw that virus at the Collective in Endgame.
That's right. Some people you just can't get rid of.
Some people you just can't get over, especially when they violate your free will to incorporate you into their collective consciousness.
That can be the tagline. What if it's Star Trek Locutus?
It's just literally, that would be awesome. If it was 10 hours of what it was like to be inside Picard's brain during Best of Both Worlds. Like,
transfer 326 to sector 921.
Allocate 5 gigaquads of data for parallel processing of interstellar navigational data in Junction 5. That's about as exciting as Office Space for some reason to me. About as exciting and as funny. That movie was funny, but like that one guy who's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need you to come in on Saturday." Yeah, that's a thing. So the other option is that the 10-hour movie of Star Trek Picard's first season will just be him picking grapes
Yeah, one by one.
Just one by one. It's a full work day on video.
Pretty long work day.
And eventually you get to see him like stepping in a bucket of grapes.
Oh yeah. It'd be like that, that old YouTube video where there's two women doing the grapes and one of them falls down?
No.
I'll send it to you. It's the kind of thing you'd be into.
Oh my God. So as a bonus for our listeners, what I would love to do at the end of this is to have you, we can do a live, well, this will be the sequel. This will be our one-off for the week. There's a meme that I discovered recently. It's the Fidget Spinner movie. And apparently it was created by Tom Hanks and Ron Howard. And
yeah, they didn't really look like Tom Hanks.
Well, no, that was just the
it was in
German
German
actor using. Yeah, so we're gonna live video that one. We still haven't released the woman gets hit by stop sign.
We released that. That's released. That's out.
Oh, did we just include that with the escape artist?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So anyway, back to this episode. It was elegant and beautiful. I like the mention of tachyons. I really want to play 3D chess. I thought the devices on the wall at Sarek's place were pretty cool. And is it just me, or did that Vulcan shuttle look like the head of Andros from Star Fox?
Oh, I didn't notice that. I got to go back and look at that.
Yeah.
Another video game reference.
What is it? Your distinctiveness will be added to our own.
Only I have the brains to rule Lilat.
You will adapt to service us. Oh, man.
Yeah, one thing I liked in that chamber Spock was hanging out in is those faces on the walls, those masks on the walls. Those are like how in Roman households they had wax busts of all your ancestors so that you could compare yourself to them and feel unworthy or worthy depending on your moral worth. And apparently they got that on Vulcan too. I thought that was a nice culturally appropriate touch.
Yeah, I think the what do you call it? Those were the Katra stones.
Yeah,
I believe that get mentioned.
Yeah, I got that impression. It's also interesting this conversation that Sarek had with Amanda Grayson, where she was like, "I'm your partner, and we're equals," which contradicts the episode in the original series where Sarek and Amanda Grayson visit the Enterprise, and someone remarks on how obedient Amanda is, and she says, "Of course, I'm a Vulcan wife."
Oh, she might have just been promoting the party line in the front of the camera, so to speak, if that makes sense.
In which one?
Well, in the original series episode, like this is behind closed doors.
I think the writers felt like they needed to undo that little bit of Vulcan culture.
Oh yeah, for sure. She needs to have some representation as a
partner.
As a partner, and I did like her line of "try again," like as if, hey, I'm gonna pull my weight here, and I'm even gonna engage in conniving activities behind your back because what you
imagine if
have,
your son is sick. Speaking of empathy for your son, imagine your son is sick and you find out your wife has been keeping him in a cave and preventing him from getting medical attention because she's afraid of conspiracies. How's that going to go?
I mean, if you're a normal person, probably bad. Probably bad. If you're a Vulcan, probably also bad.
I think Sarek would have been justified in laying down the law a bit.
Oh, are you saying you would have been okay with him hitting her?
No.
Okay, good. I didn't think you were.
I mean, it is Vulcan, unless he considered that part of the Vulcan hello.
The Vulcan goodbye. Every time you say goodbye to your wife, you hit her violently to show her. I'm sorry. I am not in support of domestic abuse, but that is kind of funny. and we're just going to let that stand.
Yeah, we're just going to let there be a long pause there.
Clever Orbits does not support domestic abuse in any form, fashion, or way.
Agreed.
In case you all were wondering. We do feel that there should be no holds barred on the jokes that we make.
That's right.
Yes. Like the fact that, for example, the writers seem to have discovered that they can distort the screens in order to prove the situation is serious, and that's their main go-to now.
You mean
we had
when the interface that they're looking at is distorted on their console?
Yes, their screens on their consoles. Like they start like spinning and stuff. Like the orientation of the angle of the data presented starts shifting, just like they were waved through it.
Having a lot of computer interface problems.
Yes.
They have the language virus. They've got like this visual distortion. They got sentinels probing into their data.
You know what? You know what they really need?
Hackers.
They need a firewall. They have some firewall issues.
They need Norton antivirus. They need some enterprise antivirus solutions. That'll fix it.
Oh my gosh.
They need McAfee.
Definitely.
They need John McAfee. Now, that would be a cameo. John McAfee is basically mud in real life.
Wait, seriously?
Oh, you should look him up. He's had quite a life. He recently fled the United States for tax evasion, and his location is unknown.
Oh.
And he was previously kicked out of Belize for allegedly murdering someone.
Oh my God!
As part of a because they knew something about a secret drug lab he had or something. This is the guy that made the antivirus software.
All right. Well, you learn new things every day here at Clever Orbits. They do actually.
They got cybersecurity problems. That's a new problem we're seeing cropping up on Discovery that we haven't seen before in Star Trek. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Right? Writers in the '90s didn't know this was a thing, really.
Yeah, they didn't. They weren't ready for this. I mean, so the other things. There's just a couple things to mention on that. Arium, who is an augmented human, gets invaded by a virus that looks very much like Brainiac from the Superman animated series. So
you mean three triangles?
Yeah. Oh my God, Richard! It's another instance of the pattern. They took the three circles with the lines between them. That's the symbol for Brainiac from
it's
Superman.
An upside down triangle.
It is also an upside down triangle. It is not, however, as hilarious as I would like for it to be.
So that whatever that Android thing is, I mean that thing's status is kind of unclear. Is compromised, and so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be in the next episode or two.
And we have an interesting quote that Amanda Grayson told Michael that mysteries always come in threes, which kicked off.
And there were three things there.
Three dots, yeah.
Past, present, and future. Yeah,
that's right. Birth, life, and death. I mean, those aren't really like three equal things.
Yeah.
Your birth and your death are two moments, and your life is a series of moments.
Or is it?
The past, present, future. The past and the future are a series of moments, and the present is a single moment.
So the next piece is Leland is quite the con man. Like, he really convinced me and Burnham that Spock was going to be okay. Like, that nothing bad was going to happen. I was really clear. And then Georgiou says, no, actually, they're just going to harvest his memories. And it was like, oh, my God. I guess he's real Section 31. I mean,
or
for
was
some
she
reason,
lying?
Was she lying? I mean, she might have been. You're right. You're right. In order to get more power, which is unclear what that even means. I mean, according to the book and according to this idea of control, Leland is just serving the evaluations, projections, and assessments of an artificial intelligence that incidentally exists in parallel on pretty much every piece of Starfleet technology in existence, according to that book, which I'd really love to read that book again. Yeah.
It's a virus.
Yeah, control is a virus. It's just that its intention is to basically keep Starfleet safe, or keep the Federation safe, excuse me. So
the best strategy for a parasite is to benefit its host.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, she might not even know what she's doing. She might not know what she's getting herself into in just serving this basically all-powerful AI. And she may think that it gets her more ability to, like, flex her muscles and do whatever she wants, but I don't think it will. I think it'll be ultimately dissatisfying to her.
I really hope it turns out to be true, your theory that it is control. Control is an AI like in the books, because that would be really cool. Yeah,
and I hope Discovery confronts that or something at some
point.
We've
never seen a scary AI in Star Trek. Look, there's so many new sci-fi ideas that have come out of science and science fiction since last time Star Trek was big. One of them is the technological singularity, right? The AI that's so smart we can't predict its actions, and so it might be dangerous. It might even be reaching back in time to assemble itself or something. All these cool ideas are now, like Star Trek, there's this gold mine of new ideas for it to take. And Control could be one of those, if they saw it. Like if they've been reading about the singularity instead of playing video games like Tardigrade 2014.
Oh, let us hope. Let us hope that's not one of the writers. And I'm not, I mean, we don't mean to take pot shots at the writers. I know you guys are doing the best that you can, right? So it's just a matter of not stealing everything from every other franchise in existence.
They're mutating wildly.
It's like a well, yeah, it's a mutation. So the Red Angel, to finish off and circling that, like, who is it? Why do they want what they want? What are they doing? This idea of it being an artificial intelligence assembling itself is pretty cool. The fact that it's a female in that suit, and the fact that we just kind of skipped in the beginning of this episode to the idea that the Red Angel is from the future, based on one judgment that when Saru saw it.
Ground that.
Yeah, they didn't make an argument for it. They just decided we're going to go with the time travel thing.
Cool idea. Yeah, that sounds
Which, actually, you know what? If the Red Angel was something that Spock saw when he was younger, then the Red Angel would basically have to either time travel or have to be really old and have to have not done anything for like 20 years or something. So I guess that makes
a really
sense.
long lifespan.
That too.
There's no reason aliens have to live, 70 years. They could live thousands of years.
They could live billions and billions of years.
I don't know about that.
That's the, what do you call it?
Carl Sagan.
The Carl Sagan quote, thank you. It's been a while since I've seen Cosmos or The Upgrade with Neil deGrasse. Awesome.
I want to watch
that. Or
wait. We watched that when we were in dorm mates, remember?
Yeah, we watched the
TV.
The earlier version, yeah.
Yeah, the Carl Sagan version.
Did we really? We were watching VHS tapes?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we were watching a lot of VHS tapes.
We didn't have a DVD player in there. That was 2005. And we got that TV from Walmart for like $30. It did not have a DVD player.
That's right. So anyway, this is fast becoming how many digressions can we put into a single episode?
I got a few more.
Oh man, God help us. So I think that's pretty much it for me, other than the fact that I really want to play 3D chess. If I haven't mentioned that, I think that would be fun for us to have a Clever Orbits episode where it's just you and me playing 3D chess.
All right. Verbally?
No, like visually.
Okay.
A video recording next time I'm in California.
It's just like the screen's covered in Parmesan cheese, man.
Yeah, what else you got, man? What else you got?
That's pretty much it. I was kind of over-promising earlier when I said I had more digressions.
Oh. Well,
I can think it through.
You've certainly
I talked
under-delivered.
about the fighting ability. I talked about the Sentinels. Talked about Yellow Alert. Talked about Amanda Grayson's change in ideology. Yeah. Talked about John McAfee. That's an important one.
Yeah, I'd say that he is the most important thing that they're going to bring to the series. I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have John McAfee show up.
It'd be quite a cameo.
Straight from what do you call it?
An undisclosed location.
He recorded on a green screen from an
Straight from
location.
A boat in international waters. We bring you. Yeah,
So,
I mean, the whole world of computers is really not explored in Star Trek. The computers are always just like, there's that episode of Next Generation where the computer is becoming a sentient life form, and they're like, oh, that's interesting, and then they all forget about it.
Yeah, they just let it go.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that happened.
Yeah, so we're in for some good ideas, I think, in the future in this show.
Yeah. I mean, I think this time rift was interesting, was okay.
Okay.
I think, I think adding some subtlety to Spock is great. I think this is very much in between. Like, we haven't gotten to see Spock fully yet, so we'll get to see that in the next episode. He'll wake up and he'll actually be having conversations, which is wonderful.
We'll see into his soul instead of just his body.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know that the Telosians have that power.
We'll see his Katra.
His Katra. We'll see his Katra. Well, yeah. Final thoughts on this episode?
I enjoyed watching it, and at the end, this is the key. At the end, I didn't want it to end. Like, I wanted to keep on going. It was a lot of momentum. It was a lot of fun to watch. I'd give it a 9.5.
I think I'd give it a 9.2. I feel like somebody made a great point. It was Jamal Episcopan, who does Jammers reviews, which we should really have on the show. He's been reviewing these, yeah.
A lot. I respect his opinion a lot.
Oh,
I've read every single one of his reviews.
Yes. Oh, really? Every single one on every series that he's done?
Yep.
Wow, that's great. We should let him know how much we appreciate him and invite him on.
I'm sure.
In any case, yeah, I'm sure. So in any case, he made the point of the fact that in The Next Generation, and this was the only thing he felt was wrong with the last episode, The Sound of Thunder. In The Next Generation, this whole idea of changing an entire civilization and in the light of the Prime Directive, is it something we should do? That would have at least merited a more in-depth conversation rather than a Pike just kind of agreeing to it. And that is the nature of for me, that's my judgment, that is the nature of Star Trek, is we have those interesting conversations. And we didn't get it there. And we also didn't have anything like that here. However, I'm willing to let that go assuming that there will be one in the next episode, but then that could lead to a fallacy where I just keep hoping. What is it, like Quantum Leap? Hoping that the next leap will be the leap home. And then it never ends up home. I don't think he ever ended up home, actually, on that show. Did you see that show? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Quantum Leap.
I'm just imagining a show about someone leaping from dimension to dimension, timeline to timeline, and never finding their way home.
Well, so the show, I find it very difficult to imagine anyone empathizing with that. The show,
yeah, well,
what is it you should say? Well, read it and weep, or something like that.
I've been through a lot of timelines, man.
The show basically had him leaping between people's lives in the space of his own lifetime, and he kind of displaced the consciousness of whoever he leaped into, and he made decisions for them, and he set right what once went wrong, the opening sequence says. And so there's this interesting notion of judging the past based on, like, all right, well, it's not working out, it's not how it should be, or something like that, and this guy is fixing it. But he kept jumping at the whim of this artificial intelligence, actually. And it was never clear that the artificial intelligence, and he couldn't age either, because it was just his consciousness moving from body to body and from point of time to point of time. So theoretically, this artificial intelligence might have had him moving forever between different bodies and timelines and all of this. So,
and in those days, men shall seek death,
but shall not find it. Yes, shall flee from them. So that's basically what happened. It's the Book of Revelation.
Yeah.
The end of all things.
Confirmed once again.
Again, a reminder, we should probably go back and do a commentary on that. I think it'd be very entertaining.
The Book of Revelation? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Book of Revelation.
The James Earl Jones recording with the pleasant background music.
Yeah, we can just stop every couple minutes and listen to it.
Commentary track.
Commentary track, indeed.
Book of Revelation.
On the Book of Revelation commentary.
I think that would be great.
Yeah. So, in case anybody was wondering what's coming down the pike, we're probably going to do a commentary on the Book of Revelation. All right.
If you're learning about the eschatological views of clever orbits, you're going to find out.
We should definitely distinguish some. We should
That's
definitely create and or distinguish some.
Oh, yeah.
All right. On that note, this has been your friendly neighborhood spider. Oh, no, that would be another theft from another. Look, they've got us doing it. Oh, my God.
It's intertextuality, man.
Doesn't mean you can just take wholesale. I mean, it's like when I go ahead and say to infinity,